From the busy streets of New York City to the hidden corners of Sicily, these powerful crime organizations have captured the imagination of people all over the world. And let me tell you, each mafia has its own compelling story of power struggles, betrayals, and criminal empires you shouldn't miss. So, hold on tight, because these Italian mafia legends are people who made history in every criminal activity. Let's get started. Sam Giancana. Sam Giancana is a legendary name in mob history, owing to his endless curiosity about American politics. He was born in Chicago in 1908 and led the outfit from 1957 to 1966, when boss Accardo announced his retirement. Well, he wasn't a simple gangster in history. He was known for his brutal personality that made him a legend in the underground. And he was said to have committed at least 3 murders and had been arrested over 70 times by the age of 20. Conspiracy theories persist today claiming that Giancana personally, or the mob in general, staged JFK's murder. Joe Masseria. Let me introduce you to Giuseppe Masseria, also known as Joe the Boss, an early Italian-American mafia boss born on January 17, 1866. He was a powerful figure in New York City's organized crime community. He ruled over one of the city's most ruthless mafia families, the Genovese crime family, from 1922 to 1931. In 1928, Masseria got a promotion and became the Capo dei Capi, which means he was the boss of all bosses, taking over from D'Aquila. But what makes him legendary in mafia tales is his involvement in the Castellamarese War. It was a fierce battle for control of the Italian-American mafia that lasted from 1930 to 1931, a real power struggle. Stefano Magaddino. Magaddino masterminded the murder of Detroit gangster Felice Buccellato in 1917. He was the longest tenured boss in the history of the American mafia. Stefano, a notorious Italian-born crime boss known as the Undertaker. Born on October 10, 1891, he ruled over the Buffalo crime family in western New York. His influence didn't stop there. It stretched from Ohio to South Ontario, making him a big shot in the underworld. Stefano's reputation for being a mastermind of crime was well earned. Back in 1917, he orchestrated the murder of Detroit gangster Felice Buccellato, a real-life gangster story. But what's truly impressive is that Stefano held the title of the longest-serving mafia boss in the history of the American mafia. He dominated the Buffalo underworld for a whopping 50 years. Joe Profaci. Joe Profaci, the cunning and charismatic boss of the Italian mafia in New York City. Born in Villabate, Sicily, Joe Profaci was destined for a life of crime. He grew up in poverty, surrounded by the allure of the mafia, and soon found himself drawn into its web of power and secrecy. With a sharp mind and a silver tongue, Profaci quickly climbed the ranks of the mafia, establishing his own crime family known as, appropriately, the Profaci family. He was known for his business acumen, transforming illegal operations into a highly profitable enterprise. From bootlegging during the Prohibition era to extortion, gambling, and loan sharking, Profaci's empire thrived. And so did his reputation as a shrewd and formidable figure. He survived until 1962. When he passed away from cancer, leaving behind a legacy of mystery, influence, and fear. Salvatore Giuliano. Well, if you have ever heard about Salvatore, one of them is Salvatore Giuliano. He was a notorious Sicilian bandit and separatist who rose to prominence in post-war Italy. He grew up in a tough and poor place called Montelepre, where he got involved in all sorts of criminal activities like stealing and violent acts. He was also involved in every criminal activity, including banditry and theft. Salvatore became quite famous in post-war Italy, and his life was full of mystery and drama. When he died, people couldn't agree on what really happened. Even today, people still debate and come up with conspiracy theories about his death. His story has become so legendary that it inspired books, movies, and lots of discussions about Sicilian history. Henry Hill. Henry Hill Jr. was an Italian-American mobster associated with New York's Lucchese crime family. From 1955 to 1980, he was arrested on drug charges and worked as an FBI informant. Hill testified against his former mafia associates, which resulted in 50 convictions, including Capo Regime Paul Vario and fellow associate James Burke on multiple counts. He later joined the Witness Protection Program before being kicked out in 1987. Hill's life story was documented in Nicholas Pileggi's true crime book, Wise Guy: Life in a Mafia Family. It was later adapted by Martin Scorsese into the critically acclaimed 1990 film Goodfellas, in which Hill was played by Ray Liotta. Bernardo Provenzano. Bernardo Provenzano, the infamous boss of the Italian mafia, also known as the Cosa Nostra. He was like the boss of all the bosses and led a powerful group called the Corleonesi. Hailing from Corleone, Sicily, he became a big player in the mafia's brutal internal war in the 1980s and 1990s. But what made him truly remarkable was his ability to play games of deception and hide from the police for over 40 years. Can you believe it? He was one of Italy's most wanted criminals, until they finally caught him in 2006. During his years on the run, he still managed to control mafia operations, pulling the strings from the shadows. It's like something out of a spy movie. Until his arrest in 2006, he was considered one of Italy's most wanted fugitives. During his years in hiding, he wielded considerable power over mafia affairs, orchestrating various criminal activities while maintaining a low profile. However, Provenzano was sentenced to life in prison in 2006. Salvatore Riina, a notorious Italian mafia boss known by chilling nicknames like the Beast and Toto. Hailing from Corleone, Sicily, he climbed to the top of the Sicilian mafia, also called the Cosa Nostra, and ruled with an iron fist from the 1980s until they caught him in 1993. However, he was no ordinary boss. He orchestrated the Second Mafia War, a brutal battle that led to the deaths of many mafia bosses and even police officers. You can imagine how feared and powerful he was. Salvatore Riina's reputation was built on ruthlessness and cunning. He was involved in multiple crimes like murder, extortion, and drug trafficking, a real-life villain. He was also wanted for multiple murders, extortion, drug trafficking, and other offenses. They left an indelible mark on the world of organized crime, right? If we missed someone you searched for, tell us in the comments. Bye.